I probably won't go into the same detail on collective intelligence tomorrow, but this is more professional. So when I say collective intelligence, I have a very specific definition in mind. I may not win this conversation. It's just like, look at how the definition of artificial intelligence got abused and changed over the years. I expect the same thing to happen with collective intelligence. Among us, it just is entertainment. The right wing does not like the word collective. And the left, the right wing doesn't like the word collective, and the left wing doesn't like the word intelligence. So I got real problems. But collective intelligence, I believe, and that's the term in ICT world. I think it's one of the actually work, but we'll see. I don't know. But what I mean by collective intelligence is not prediction markets. Prediction markets, prediction markets, you can have bets on something, you average them together, you get the answer. That's not what I mean by collective intelligence. That's averaging people's judgments, like real-time Delphi. They're good, we use them, but that's not what I mean. What I mean by collection intelligence is an emergent property, as in chaos theory. Like your mind is emerging all the time. It's not a static thing. Averaging judgments is a static thing. It's an answer. Boom. If you have feedback in the system where it's changing, so then we're starting to get into collective intelligence. So it's emergent property from the synergies among data, information, knowledge, software, hardware, experts, and others with insight that continually learns from feedback.
That's it. So this is emergent learning.
To produce merely just-in-time knowledge for better decisions than these three elements acting alone. In the past, you would just take the experts. They came and take the wise ones and have a discussion, get an answer. Then the internet comes along, and libraries, and say, well, we use the information. So, no, I've got these mathematicians making these models and decision support systems, well, let them do it. And the answer is you use all three. And they can all change each other. If they cannot change each other, in my definition, it's not a collective intelligence system. It includes the database. The data entry, the meaning of that data, can change through time. Or its interpretation can change through time. So it should not be a static thing. All relational databases, you look for patterns.
What is the difference from collective intelligence versus collective or global mind?
Francis is a friend of mine. From Belgium, you know him? Francis Heiligen?
No,
There's a global brain listserv group. And if you're interested, I can put you in there. This is a constant conversation. A collective intelligence would be, in fact, that global brain.
Yeah, because it's always a crossover. Crossover. You want to make a data smarter or application smarter. What is the happiness?
Yeah, you want to go back and forth. And you have in the middle, just like graphically, you have and you have your brain in the middle. You still have the human brain.
And then you have a point when software is able to collect the data without participant or a moment or a human being.
Right. But the human being still wants to
Yes,
check it, to double check
so
it.
the software can acquire data without the presence. Software can extract the knowledge from the data and create new information. Is that a global mind? And is that equal to the collective?
Okay, I'm suggesting that, well, first of all, that would be the graphic representation. All three of them can affect and change each other. If they're not connected and can't change, then you don't have an emergent property. You've got a static system. Now, the global mind may be more, and probably might be more, depends on your definition of reality. Depends on your definition of reality. If you accept that we are an expression of an energy spiritual field, then that is the global mind. And that exists before you and I put our fingers on a computer.
One question.
That becomes a philosophical question.
Does the boundary making from the collective intelligence system to the global mind is the situation when the software is able to acquire and create new knowledge based on algorithm or procedure?
Well, ideally, a collective intelligence system should emerge that capacity. Now we're doing one for futures research. And I'm going to try to do its own, because I didn't like the way others were doing it. So the only way I can prove what it is to build it and say, that's what I mean. Now, I have no pretensions that the collective intelligence system will try to really become the global mind. I suspect it's going to be all that stuff together. And there's two schools of thought. One school of thought says you can design it. Another school of thought says, no, you can't, it's merge it properly. And what we're going to do is we're going to design as best we can, but the system will still merge. You know? But you might, if you're interested in those questions, Francis Heiligen has one of the better online groups. And also Peter Diem, I got to get you on Peter Diem's system for the ontology.
Yes.
Yeah, this is trouble, I give him too much
That's a
stuff,
question
we won't be able to do
which
it.
could appear from the people who are related to these fields, acquiring the data, exchanging the data.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Do we create a smarter application? Do we create a smarter software? Since we create already smarter data, then
Right?
when is the time, when there's the cross from one side to another, that he's able to do the best and without us.
Could we say that initial stage of building collective intelligence system is that you have a good search and answer inquiry?
But that's one part, that's what I'm
Only
saying.
one.
Think of like the human body. If I said the human body was this thing, this head and this skin and all that, yeah, but that didn't explain the microbes doing the digestion. It didn't explain the endocrine system running. It didn't explain your auditory system listening to what I'm saying. Collective intelligence is unfortunate. That's why I say as simply as I can do it, is it's human expert brains and those with insight, hardware, software, data, information, knowledge, such that each can change the other. If one is static and cannot be changed by the other, then I would say it's not a collective intelligence system because you want it to emerge, continually emerge all the time.
Pushing each other.
Now, I won't get into this much philosophy. Come on. Now, so I can show it online, but I don't know how fast the system will be. So what I can do is I can try that now.
As fast as it is now.
This is the same one. This is the system. We are in the same building. This one.
Okay. All right. So if I come in the home page, I can say, oh, here you go. That's going. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, that's good. So I can start off saying, here's an overview of the. This is, I also tell them this is a workbench. This is not the public, slick Hollywood version yet. And one of the things we track are 15 global challenges. So part of the idea of a collective intelligence is a synthesis of those three I mentioned. So let's redo it for each of the three. So for example, if I click on the first one, there are people we've selected around the world. They're invited into that discussion group. The discussion group has sub-discussions all the time. And the person can subscribe to one sub-unit, not the whole thing, so they don't get overloaded. But each one would have a menu of choices. The first choice, main, gives you a dashboard or an overview of the whole situation. What is the situation? What is the scanning items? What is the discussion groups? What are the news feeds? So I can take a look at the news every day, see what's going on, and I can draw from that any way I want to. If I have permission, if I'm part of the expert group, the three ones in there, then I can add that into the scanning system as more of a permanent unit. But when I do that, I can add a comment, so you can annotate the information all the time. If something is so controversial it needs a discussion, then you see where it says save. Save brings it up to here. Discuss moves it over here to discussion group. So then we're inviting people, let's argue about this, discuss this. When there's something that's interesting, conclusion comes out of the discussion, then it goes into the situation chart. Is it a different way to measure the current situation? Is it different data about it? Is it different insight? Or is it a better understanding of the desired situation? Or is it better policy? So here you have, say, here's the situation, here's the desire, here's the policies to address the gap. Now, one of the nice things about this, the way we've set this up, is that I can then click on challenge 2. Whoops, well, I didn't do that right. Back up here. Back down. If I click on the menu up here, you've got the summary is the content. So the State of the Future report was just one option. The summary is just the content part.